Welcome, Grade 7 Explorers, to this cinematic explainer. Okay, shh, step quietly. Today, we are venturing deep into the thrilling, fast-paced ecosystem of the business world. I'm going to be your guide on this expedition, and we are on the lookout for a very particular, highly driven species that basically keeps our entire global economy alive and kicking. We're tracking the entrepreneur. So grab your notebooks and keep your eyes peeled, because truly understanding this fascinating creature is absolutely crucial for mastering your upcoming economic and management sciences exam.
Here is our safari itinerary for today. We're going to cover spotting the entrepreneur, the anatomy of an entrepreneur, the 4 survival actions, a quick field study on Maria's muffins, and finally, analyzing the ecosystem. All right, let's get moving.
So, Section 1. Spotting the entrepreneur. We've officially entered the habitat of the business world. But, before we can actually study an entrepreneur, we need to know exactly what we're looking for, right? What separates them from everyone else in the economic jungle? Look closely at this definition, explorers, because it's an absolute must-know for your exam. An entrepreneur is someone who spots a need in their environment, starts a business, takes a calculated risk to meet that need, and makes those tough decisions to ensure their survival and success. Why are they the apex species of our economy? Well, they're the ultimate providers. By doing all of this, they're creating jobs and providing vital opportunities for the rest of the ecosystem. Now, you might be wondering, just how rare is this creature? Well, to put it in perspective, out of a global population of roughly 7.6 billion people, over 600 million belong to this enterprising species. That literally means 1 in every 13 individuals on the planet owns a business. They are everywhere, constantly shaping the vibrant world around us. And here's a truly fascinating field fact for you. While we totally tend to picture young tech geniuses in hoodies, globally, the average age of a mature, successful entrepreneur is actually between 55 and 64 years old. It takes time, experience, and a lot of patience to truly master the wild terrain of business. All right, moving on to Section 2, Anatomy of an Entrepreneur. Let's pull out our magnifying glasses and really examine the anatomy of this species. What specific traits allow them to thrive where others might fail? Think of this as your essential field guide checklist, so definitely memorize this anatomy for your exam. An entrepreneur is incredibly resourceful, able to invent brilliant ideas. They are hardworking, turning those thoughts into continuous action. They're enthusiastic, just totally full of spirit and passion. They are innovative, always finding new, better ways to tackle things. They possess confidence, a deep belief in their own abilities. They are responsible, taking full accountability for their actions. And of course, they are enterprising, meaning they're always willing to take on new projects. But explorers, having the right traits simply isn't enough in the wild. To survive the harsh, totally unpredictable economic climate, the entrepreneur must deploy these specific, actionable skills every single day. They must organize effectively, make incredibly firm decisions without hesitation, provide real leadership, communicate clearly to their pack, plan thoroughly, and constantly motivate others. Okay, Section 3, the 4 survival actions. We are about to observe the entrepreneur going on the hunt. These are the 4 core actions of business, literally the lifeblood of their survival. Watch the sequential hunting pattern carefully. First, they buy, securing raw materials at the lowest possible price. Second, they manufacture, producing goods while keeping their costs tightly controlled. Third, they sell, delivering their product to satisfy the needs of the dealer or the public. And finally, step 4, the ultimate goal of the entire hunt, make a profit. This means getting more out of the business than the energy and money they originally put into it. Time for Section 4, Field Study, Maria's Muffins. It is time for live field study. Let's travel to a local watering hole, the community farmers market, to quietly observe a juvenile entrepreneur in her natural habitat. Meet 13-year-old Maria, the founder of Maria's Muffins. Let's look at her setup. She started with 300 Rand of her very own pocket money to buy basic ingredients. She bakes 100 muffins every single weekend. Now notice the brilliant contrast here. It only costs her 2 Rand and 50 cents to make and package one muffin, but her selling price is a solid 6 Rand per muffin. So I want you to think like a seasoned examiner for a second here. Looking at Maria in her habitat, what exactly makes her a true entrepreneur? I'll give you a moment to strike at the answer. And boom, this brilliantly illustrates the exact definition we learned earlier. She didn't just bake for fun, right? She identified a specific market opportunity at the farmer's market, and she took a calculated risk by using her own saved pocket money to start the business. Now, explorers, let's test your field math skills. This is a classic exam scenario. What is Maria's potential profit if she successfully sells all 100 muffins in one single weekend? Let's calculate it together.
Yes, 350 Rand. Let's break down those tracks. Selling 100 muffins at 6 Rand each brings in a total of 600 Rand. But, wait, we have to subtract your costs. 100 muffins at 2 Rand 50 each costs her 250 Rand to make. So, 600 minus 250 leaves her with a triumphant 350 Rand of pure profit. She successfully got more out than she put in.
But beware, the business ecosystem is incredibly dangerous. Predators and sudden environmental changes are everywhere. What do you think is the primary threat to Maria's continued survival?
Exactly. The cost of her raw ingredients increasing. If the price of flour or sugar spikes by 20%, her profit margin shrinks fast. And a true entrepreneur doesn't just panic and hike up her prices by 20% immediately. No way. The best reaction is to step back, carefully analyze those costs, and consider various strategic solutions to adapt to the new climate.
Here is an absolutely crucial metric for any business exam, the break-even point. This is the exact moment an entrepreneur covers all their costs and finally stops losing money. So, how many muffins must Maria sell just to break even on her batch of 100?
The magic survival number is 43 muffins. Let's do the math on that. Selling 43 muffins at 6 Rand each brings in 258 Rand. That just safely covers her 250 Rand cost to bake the entire batch of 100. That means from muffin number 44 onwards, she is running entirely on pure profit.
Okay, one final field study question before we pack up our gear. By deliberately choosing to set up her stall at the bustling local farmers market, what core business principle is our juvenile entrepreneur applying?
She is executing flawless target market marketing. She isn't wandering aimlessly trying to sell muffins in a hardware store, right? She has placed herself exactly in the habitat where her ideal, hungry customers naturally gather on a weekend. Just brilliant instincts.
Finally, Section 5, Analyzing the Ecosystem.
Let's step out of the tall grass. By studying Maria, we've seen the traits, the skills, and the survival actions all come together perfectly. You now have a complete, high-definition picture of the entrepreneur's ecosystem, and you are entirely prepared to tackle these concepts on your exam. But the absolute crucial point is this. Business isn't just something that happens in a textbook. It's happening right outside your door. As you walk home today, look closely at your own habitat. What hidden need is just waiting for an entrepreneur, maybe someone exactly like you, to step up, take a calculated risk, and start a new adventure? Keep your eyes open, explorers. I'll see you on the next explainer.